So, hi, こんにちは。ジェニングスサナエです。So today I'd like to present on TPR, Total Physical Response, and Gestures in Japanese Classroom. Okay, and a little bit about me. So I teach at East Los Angeles College right now since 2015. But before that, like I actually got master's degree a long time ago from Monash University in Melbourne, Australia. And after that, I taught at the same university, same school for 6 years as a full-timer. I guess if you're from Australia, you're probably familiar with this university. This university has a big Japanese department, a big Asian studies department, and I was lucky enough to teach from the absolute beginner to very advanced level where I can teach Japanese literature and newspaper and all that, like a graduate level. But since then I met my husband from here and I moved here a while ago, and since then I've been teaching in the US, in Southern California, and I have taught at CSUN, California State University, Northridge, and University of Southern California a little while, but after that I've been teaching at community college level, so where I mainly teach beginner level, and I've been teaching Japanese 1 and 2 and Japanese conversation for the past 6-7 years now. Okay, so my CI journey, I am a slower adopter of CI or TPRS. CI actually I've been adopting and going, back 2013. Jason Fritz was the first person to introduce me TPR, but I didn't adopt right away. And then also met Arina Felipesque. She's also renowned TPRS Spanish teacher. So I was fortunate enough to meet those great TPRS teachers, and also that they converted me to, and they convinced me to go to TPRS workshop. So I did go to 4-day workshop, and after that I fell in love with it, and I've been doing lots of trials and errors, and I have to say, like, I'm really suck at do the storytelling with my students, so I haven't really done extensively. But around the same time, I also fell in love with extensive reading or free voluntary reading. Oh, sorry, it says learning, but it should be reading. But then I managed to build a little Japanese extensive reading library in Language Lab at our school. And around the same time, I started a book club with my students, kind of after school type of thing, a totally volunteer basis. But I've had so much fun, and I also started learning Korean with a CI method teacher since 2019. It's been over a year, and it just reinforced my belief in TPRS and CI method. Just briefly, with the COVID campus closure, I had over 6 months break from my Korean lesson. But when I went back this January, just past January, both my teacher and I were pleasantly surprised how much I kept it without any study. The only thing I did was like watching Korean drama, but so that also kind of proved me that CI works. And last year, so many things I have learned from CI. based teaching, I had to put aside because of online teaching, but I also did explore. I can still adapt some CI. And I just started Japanese book club again this past January. Sorry, I just make sure like I'm on time. So, TPR, oops, yeah, TPR. So TPR is a language teaching method. You know what? Like, let me just. Oops. Let me stop sharing. Did I miss something? Sorry. Oh, you know what? This should not be here, right? Sorry, sorry about this organization. Okay, so let me present again. Okay. Oops. Okay. So yesterday we had a great presenters, and there's so many CI strategies and methods and all that. And some of you may have been overwhelmed, and some of you might be wondering where to start your CI journey, right? But so if you thinking that like where to start your CI journey, I would say TPR. TPR is probably the great start as I started, because like you hardly have no preparation. So I share some of the things I do now, and then you can just pick and choose, and then you can just apply right away tomorrow in your classroom if you like. Okay, I don't know if you can do this, but do you know how to do annotation on my screen as a participant? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, some of you do and some you don't. If you do not, let me do this. Okay, so if you do not, you can just chat. Okay, I just want to do a little quick survey. So that's okay if you don't know. Then you can just chat whether hi or yeah or yes or no. Okay. 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 So just clean up. Okay, so and I will ask you questions in English for this one. Okay, so okay, so do you teach Japanese? Okay. Okay. Okay, how about this one? Do you speak Japanese? Okay, a couple of you don't. Okay, so about a few. Okay, and two more questions. Do you know what TPR is? Not TPRS, but TPR is. Okay. Okay, then do you use TPR in your classroom? Last question. Okay. Okay. So maybe for some of you, it might be boring, but I'm glad like not everyone's using it in your classroom, in their classroom. Okay. Okay, so today I want to share with you really briefly what is TPR, and also TPR and gestures in my classroom. And I want to share with you today verbs and particles as a vocabulary. I actually do locations too, but I decided not to include that one today. Maybe too much. Okay. And classroom instructions and also classroom management. Okay, and then I would like to briefly go over TPR, how to do TPR and gestures in classroom. And then some notes to remember to finish it off. Okay, so I'm quite up with the time. Okay, so what is TPR? So TPR is an acronym for total physical.
Right? Okay, are you there?
Okay, so sorry. So TPR is an acronym for total physical response, which is often, which I often get like when I say TPRS. Many teachers say like, "Oh, I know TPRS. It's a TPR, right?" Then no, they're separate. But yeah, so they're kind of mixed up together. But TPR often used in TPRS classroom. Okay. And this is what James Usher, the founder of TPR, says: human beings are wired to acquire a language by listening and acting, and also watching too. Okay, and this is actually the website. I will share the PDF of my presentation later so that you guys can go onto his website and learn more about it. Okay, but what is TPR? So TPR is a language teaching method built around the coordination of speech and physical movement. And unlike traditional language teaching that plays only on your left hemisphere of the brain, learners get to use the whole brain to acquire the language. And this is the best part. It caters to different learning styles: visual learners, audio learners, kinesthetic learners. So it's kind of like makes everyone happy. And a process is mimics a way that infants learn their first language. And that's how James Usher invented this. He was frustrated the fact like he himself cannot remember what he learned at college language class. And I'm sure like many of you here frustrated the same way, or this is my usual party small chat conversation that like I'm asked, what do you do for, what do I do for my living? And I say I teach Japanese, and they often say like, oh, I learned French or I learned Spanish, but I don't remember anything, or they only know a few lines. Okay. And also what great about TPR is students can actively participate while they're still in silent period. So for CI, it's important for students to listen and make connections, but at the same time, by using TPR and gestures, they can also actively participate. Okay, and it works not only for children, but also college students and adults. It worked for me in Korean. It has worked many times with my students. So this is just anecdotes, and I haven't really did the statistics, but in the past, before I started using TPR, at the end of the lesson, we heavily used verbs. Student even couldn't say tabemas and nomimas, and they don't understand what they are, but not the case anymore. They learn a lot more quickly, and also like they seems to stay. The memory, it becomes long-term memory, and it is kind of cute when they come to my Japanese too. I could tell right away like who were my students were. Like I know them too, but they often do that. Like when they can't recall, they do the actions, and then they're like that, and then like they say something. So it does work. Okay. So as I said before, TPR works for basic verbs, and I don't do this today, but location words and even particles, and also classroom instructions and management from day one. Okay. And TPRS and gestures. Okay, so I just want to go over a little bit about how I do that. Just kind of showcasing. So it's I'm not really doing the way I do with my students here for this one. So if you don't understand Japanese, it might be overwhelming. I just warn you. Okay. Oop, sorry, I lost it. Okay, I just need to do this. Okay. So this one, imasu, imasu. Right? Imasu, imasu, imasu. Arimasu, arimasu. Imasu, arimasu. Okay. And this one, ikimasu, 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 ikimasu. Okay. Tabemas, 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 tabemas. Okay, and then nomimasu, nomimasu, nomimasu. Okay. Okay, so sorry, like I just want to go back to this really quickly. So tabemas, yesterday, Brownwind Sensei did this, right? This right? For tabemas. And usually my students, if I do this, like especially Chinese students, they do it. They do this. They do this. And that's fine. That's fine, because they need to connect the actions with the sound. So if they come up with something else, but still tabemas or tabemas, those are all fine. So like I'm not really confined, like, oh, you have to do this. Like this is fine and this is fine. We just do this. Hamburger is easy for things to eat, to introduce because of long words. That's why I do this, but this is fine too. But I do this one. Okay. And then kaimasu, like this is actually the gesture for the money in Japanese. Like English speaking people do this, right? Do this, right? do this, right? But this is Japanese money. So I teach them like, oh, this is Japanese money. This is Japanese money. And then kaimasu, right? So you pay and get something, right? Kaimasu, kaimasu. Okay. And this is mimasu, mimasu, mimasu. Or sometimes students do this, mimasu, mimasu. Again, those are both okay. Okay, mimasu. And this one, like I'm doing this too, kikimasu, 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 kikimasu. And this is yomimasu, yomimasu, yomimasu. And this one is hanashimasu, hanashimasu. And for me, this one is imasu, imasu. Okay. And this one is shimasu, shimasu, shimasu. And shimasu is really hard to do for me. And then the first time I tried, I told students like a shimasu is for playing sports or, you know, playing sports or doing all sorts of things, right? Doing all sorts of things like you cook or like all sorts of things. And then my first set of students did this, like doing this, like all sorts of things, crazy moves. But then like later, like recently, like maybe 2 years ago, one of my students said, "Sensei, how about let's do it like a Nike sign. Let's do it." And oh, that's a great idea. It's like a check mark and the to-do list check mark, right? So since then I do check mark like to do. And then if I do, students know like I'm things to do. Okay, so for to do, shimasu, I do the check mark, check mark. So it's great. Like sometimes like students actually have better idea than I do, and then we can co-create the science too, not only the stories, but we can co-create the science too. And this one is 勉強します。勉強します。勉強します。勉強します。Okay. And this one is 書きます。書きます。書きます。And this one is 起きます。起きます。And this one is 寝ます。寝ます。寝ます。And this one is 来ます。Well, online is probably better than this. 来ます。来ます。来ます。And this one is 帰ります。To return. 帰ります。So you actually go, no, you actually return from where you were, right? Return to where you were, like this. 帰ります。Okay. And 会います is a Japanese way. 会います。会います。Okay. And 作ります。I do おにぎり。作ります。Oops. Why it's not rolling? Sorry. Maybe. I don't know why it's not loading. Show anyway. Oh, okay. Am I sharing?
ません。
ません。はい。もう一度。おー
I'm one of those that said, no, I don't know Japanese.
Okay.
Okay.
So for ません, for negative, I say 食べ no. Oops. Okay, so 食べません. 食べません. So I use X for negative. So 食べません. Okay. And if it's past tense, 食べました. So past, it's past. So 食べました. So your finger goes back. 食べました. Huh. And for past negative, 食べませんでした。でした。Okay. And this one is actually not the verb in Japanese, but I do this like 好きです。好きです。I know Korean does do this, right? Do this, but like we do this. We do this. 好きです。好きです。And if you love, like die, like a big love, so die, 好きです. Right? And again, if it's you don't like it, 好きじゃないです。好きじゃないです. That's how I do that. Okay. And this is just all those clip arts are all free for everyone. So just put it here and I will share this set of slides too, so that like you can change in any way you like. Okay. Okay, and then now I want to talk about classroom. TPR. Okay, so classroom TPR. So for hi, I just do this. Hi. So if they can't recall hi, so hi, yeah, hi, yeah, hi, yeah. It's something I introduced on the day one. But some of them cannot say that. That's fine, but at least like they can do this or do this. Okay. Yeah. So hi. Yeah. Okay. And then this is for when they want me to repeat. もう一度。Okay. And when they don't understand, it's powerful that they can express that they don't understand, right? But in order for them to do that, they have to feel safe. So you have to actually advocate that it's okay, that you can make a mistake. It's okay if you don't understand. And I make sure like if they don't understand, if they show me their gestures, I thank them. I thank them really loud, and I thank them the courage that they say, like they could say they didn't understand, because it's not cool. It's not cool. They don't want to look like they're stupid, even though I kept saying like it's okay, it's okay. It's not okay for them. So if they do, I really make it a big deal, big deal. And I used to do this, like when they don't understand, they just do this, like something go over their head, but then that actually shows everyone, right? If you do this, everyone can see. And again, it's embarrassing for some kids. So it depends on the kids or your class. So this one may work. And if it doesn't, I think Alina taught me that, like do this too, like do this too, do this too. And she had a brilliant idea. She says to her students, if they see someone do this, then other students should do it too. And if we have, if a teacher see enough students do this, and then that will stop the teacher. Okay, so I encourage students do this even when they understand, if they see someone doing this. Like this is like kind of stop, I stop, right? So again, this is the day one. So yes, hi, ie, and もう一度, and I don't understand. Okay. And this one, for beginner, sometimes they have a question. Then this is like a timeout. So that like they can do this, because they cannot say, may I speak in English, like 英語で話してもいいですか? Is something like really long sentence for absolute beginner. So they can just do this. And then we can switch. Or I do this too. Whenever I have to do a pop-up grammar, or I have to say something in English quickly, I just do this and 英語で話します. Or I can just say 英語で. That also like really makes me think like, okay, I'm speaking English right now. So it just stops me to go over a long time. Also, I just switch more intentionally than just switch. And also that also model my students too, like when they need to switch, they can do this. Okay, and this is another one, Kudasai, like Kudasai. Right? So Kudasai literally like give me something, right? So if they need a handout, it's like a purinto kudasai, right? Purinto kudasai. But again, like if they can't say that at the absolute beginner, they can just do this, point and do this, right? And also that also leads up to 見てください。聞いてください。話してください。Okay. And day one, I may only do a couple, or depending on the class, I may just do these 5. 読んでください。書いてください。Okay, and I think yesterday, Catherine said TEFOM is really difficult concept, and I think she mentioned the same thing. Like if we used enough in our instruction, by the time they need to produce, they're familiar. They are used to hearing those expressions in TEFOM. So and also like it increases our Japanese language speaking time as a teacher. So yeah, great. And this one is also, this is actually from my kids' elementary school teacher. So when someone says something, if especially like my students don't do that, but if you're teaching a kids and if they start saying like, oh, me too, then it just get chaos. But instead they can do this if it's the same. So someone says, ice cream ga suki desu. I like ice cream. And if they like ice cream, they can do this. And then I know which one I can say so and so also as well. Or I can also kind of use them as a next sentence or to invite them into what we're doing. So I like doing this as well. Okay. And this is actually going into the next one as well, but I did start using connecting particle or linking words too. So whenever so in lesson 1, I actually use Genki, and I am in a environment. I have to use a textbook. So I'm not fully kind of TPRS, like a free flow way. But I did start reorganizing the more priority things. So I try to introduce more important ones, including these linking words, because if you have those linking words, like their Japanese sounds actually much better, much better than isolated sentences, no linking words. Right? And then, but like I won't make it more explicit. So if I say ハンバーガーが好きです。ハンバーガーが好きです。寿司が好きです。or Japanese food like 寿司が好きです。天ぷらが好きです。寿司と天ぷらが好きです。So, and then like whenever students kind of forget if I do this, and then some students realize, oh, okay, like sushi to, or they start saying like, oh, if I like 2 of them, can I use to, right? To, and also like it's important to introduce linking sentences, like a word for linking sentences earlier, so that they don't do they do less of ikimasu to tabemas, like linking sentences to. So I do like this, like それからそれから。So 朝起きます。それからコーヒーを飲みます。Or sometimes if I just say それから and then they just continue like as much as they could. So this is also my interview technique when I do the oral kind of assessment too. And then this is actually something I learned from Anik Chan, a great TPRS Chinese teacher. You can probably see the picture and you know this, right? So when I say demo, I say to this, demo, and then it kind of sticks to them. I'm like, okay, demo is but. So, but just doing like a few linking words, their Japanese sounds a lot more cohesive. Even at a very, very early stage. That's I found with my Korean too, like my Korean teacher taught me really early on when I only knew a few verbs. I could say, I like Starbucks, and no, I like coffee, and I go to Starbucks. I go to Starbucks. However, Starbucks coffee is expensive, so I don't go there very often. So you only use one verb, or no, 2 verbs, right? Like and go. No, yeah, two or three verbs. Like I only use like a drink, mashoyo, and kayo, go, and draheo, like I like, but with only three verbs and adjectives, I could actually use create like a 5, 6, 7, 8 sentences easily. That is really powerful. That was really powerful to me. Like my students never could do that before, but I thought, why not? Like they can actually do that, and then they're doing it now. So that's that. And I'm actually going over now. So let's go back. So I just want to do the procedure really quickly. So how you do that? So obviously I don't do the way like I did with you. I don't do 20 verbs all at once. Maybe 2 or 3, maybe 2 or 3, or 3 to 5, 3 to 5. So typically I do ikimasu, ikimasu, tabemas, tabemas, nomimasu. Okay, nomimasu. But I will show them maybe twice. So tabemas, tabemas, tabemas. And then next, maybe 1 or 2 times, I ask them to listen. So because like in the past experience, they tend to try to repeat. And I say, if you can, if you want to, you can, but you don't have to. You don't have to. All I want you guys to do is give you an action so that I know who understands what I say. And in a classroom, it works great because like I can see right away in a second who understands and who don't, right? But in online environment, it becomes hard. It has become hard. But this is great because it doesn't matter whether you have 10 students, 15 students, 30 students, 40 students, instant feedback. Okay, so tabemasu. Right? And then you wait that like everyone does it, and then you do it again, tabemas. So reinforcing it. Okay. And if students were really slow to this, and then you repeat again. But if most of them got it, then you move on. Nomimasu, nomimasu, nomimasu. And then you start mixing it up, like nomimasu, tabemasu, tabemasu, nomimasu. And then ikimasu, 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 ikimasu. Okay. And then if you have 3 to 5, I was told like maybe 7 is the most you could do, but 7 is probably far more than students can chew, especially younger age. And then at the end, I ask either like 5 fingers, 4, 5, 3, 2, 1, how much you got it, or I sometimes just do you are getting it, you are acing it, or like you're kind of so, or no, like I'm really struggling. Okay, and if I get lots of this and this, you don't get too much. They tend to do this. And then like I get like, okay, I got to do it again. Okay. And then you just repeat. And then sometimes I make the students to close their eyes and do it too, so that they're not influenced by looking at others, right? And sometimes they still see some students, but that's okay. Okay, and then repeat as needed. That's how I do it. Okay. And once they got it, once you think like they make a connection, and then I write the word, and it depends your school, whether you just want to write it in Romaji. I actually like to write in Hiragana, Romaji, and English. And then we read it together. We read it together afterwards. And then again, like if I'm in a classroom, I give them time to copy, enough time to copy, so that like they actually do the writing practice too. Okay, and then after that, you just repeat and repeat, like maybe sometimes just as a warm-up at the beginning of the class, or in the middle of the class when we're doing the sentences, like the Craig and Nathan was doing yesterday. If they are stuck, I just do this. And then particles, like I just do quickly for particles. So for particles, I do explicitly teach. So for wa, like a topic marker, but I always tell my students like wa is a topic marker, but what it is you're signaling that the topic, like what you're going to talk about, So whenever like students forget like what was, like I often just ask really quickly, like what was wa? Or 何ですか? And then some just say topic marker. And then, but topic marker doesn't sometimes mean anything to them. And then somebody says, oh, you're talking, you're going, because if I say, 私は, or 朝ごはんは, breakfast, 朝ごはんは, and then, what did I just say? And then they say like, oh, you said you were going to talk about breakfast. So early on, like I try to make sure like what is not the subject marker, but the topic marker. So so they know that like it's talking about. And then for the place, I use this one too, like ikimasu, kimasu, to come, and kaerimasu. It has a destination. It's a directional movement. So I say like ikimasu. So レストランに行きます or マクドナルドに行きます。うちに来ます。うちに帰ります。So I just say like, so they know like it's a destination, and destination marker is ni or e, whereas de is this. De is just a point. So this is fine or this is fine, but it's a point. So earlier on we do マクドナルドに行きます。マクドナルドに行きます。マクドナルドでハンバーガーを食べます。And sometimes I do or just like a ring, like を食べます for object marker. So that whenever they get confused again, I just do this, and just seeing the wall, they know it's a destination, or they do something there. Okay. And I think I really have to wrap it up, right? Oops. Oh, sorry, this is not something I do this. So just did the procedure. So So once again, it's the same as other strategies. Go slow and wait and repeat as much as possible until everyone gets it. And you can do a comprehension check with the fingers or close face expressions and do this and that. Right. And in order to make these things work, like you need a nurturing learning community. So make sure like students should feel safe to do those ones. And as I said earlier, limit amount of the language and this is wrong. I have to, just having fun. Okay. And so this is a TPR word, like James Asher's website. And this is how Maestra Loca, another very colorful, full of energy Spanish teacher, has her version of actions, like a gestures. And this is like a TPR gesture games like she does. I sometimes do a similar thing. And Arena, this is actually not to do with TPR, but Arena Filipescu has a great blog entry for those new to CI methods. So if you not sure about like what other presenters has been talking about, this is a good introduction. And I would say like find your favorite, like whether it's your language or not, find your favorite TPRS teachers and follow their follow their blogs. My favorite is Diane Neubauer and Alina Filipescu and Senora Chase and Maestra Loca. I actually have a whole more, but like those are the ones like I've been following for a long time. And they're not, unfortunately, Japanese teachers. But hopefully like I have more from this too. Okay. Okay. Yes. Oh, so thank you for listening. And どうもありがとうございました。